Make a cat burrito with my blankets. Let's do YouTube. While I'm eating, we can watch some YouTubes. Asmongold! I love Sylvie the Queen. She's so fucking nice. Fucking our King Gojo. I love JJK so much. Korean fried chicken is so much better than black people chicken. I'm just saying. They say black in their fucking title. Black chicken? Korean fried chicken is so good. Shoto! Shoto is also another one that I love. Oh. Zuyang. Zuyang. Baby rotisserie chicken. Steak and Eggs podcast? Black chicken. So like black people chicken. Let's watch Nux.
Hasan Piker was just humiliated on a global, international scale. I did have contribution to make, and I actually helped, which is crazy. Which is definitely exciting to hear.
Good for you,
He
Nux.
also might be going to jail. He's definitely a foreign operative. We have to get into this. He turned on his fans. His fans are really angry at him. It's absolutely insane. So, relatively shortish video today, but we have to talk about everything because it's absolutely insane. So Hasan Piker made this tweet while he was in China in the worst fit of all time. History's worst fit, they're calling it. That's what they're calling it. Putting it all on Mabubu. This is him going horse race betting.
Why is his
betting
head
on
look
horse
so
racing.
small?
Remember, he's a communist, and here he is flexing money, which is pretty insane, especially when you look at the amount that he is flexing.
Holy fuck!
It's $30,000. Right, so he's flexing a quick 30 grand
Bro,
on a horse betting while he is preaching communism and socialism and how people are poor, and obviously, and his fans are tearing him to shreds over it. He even got...
Just for context, everybody, I listen to like YouTube drama and things like that while I'm working in the car on patrol. So I don't look at any of this shit, but I hear a lot of it. So like, I don't really look at what Nux's avatar is. I don't have it memorized in my head. I don't really look at Hasan Piker. Like, if I just saw the guy on the street, I wouldn't even notice him. I know the name. I know I know so much about it. But, like, I don't know anything. Like, if I met Hasan Piker, I would be like, oh, hi, hello. I would be totally normal towards him.
Ratioed on his tweet.
That and I easily forget faces, too, so.
Because his own fans jumped on this train, and they're like, yeah, what about making the rich pay? Wait, hold on. So his fans are turning on him. He's crashing out on his fans. But even more excitingly, this is him celebrating Thanksgiving. They were literally at the Thanksgiving parade. It was incredible. His dog is making the world a slightly brighter place one day at a time. Now, Hasan Piker recently did an interview that's really been blowing up a lot. But before we look into that, the Chinese embassy is tweeting out how Hasan Piker says China's good.
I also wanted to show my audience and the Western world.
For the record, this is Hasan Piker doing a media piece.
I think, like, if we want my 2 cents on China, China as a government, China as their people, 2 different things. I think China, the country, the people are amazing and wonderful and beautiful people. I know people who are Chinese. I know people who are Chinese. They are wonderful. They're amazing. They're great. I'm not going to say anything about the government because the government will find me and blacklist me from the country. And I would like to go to the country one day. But anyway.
With this lady who...
I'm going to turn you into chicken nuggets! Cat be on the ironing board, like brother.
Is an actual operative of the Chinese Communist Party. All right, so he is a foreign
And
agent.
I'm trying to eat right now. So.
About China, there's a lot of misunderstandings and also just outright lies, and that it's just another normal country, just like every other country is.
Yeah, they have slave labor and child labor and child sweatshops and secret police and repression of freedom of speech and arresting people with different opinions than them and having a secret police that goes around the world arresting and whacking people that dissent from the actual government. But it's just like everywhere else. It's just like everywhere else. And essentially, he does a glaze piece for China, literally sitting with a Chinese Communist Party operative with the Chinese embassy directly glazing him. So, as you can see, this tweet got ratio to oblivion with 5,000 likes and 6 million views, over 6 million, which Hassan, it's a number that Hassan is probably very familiar with. But we're going to get to that in a second. Now, he was recently on the Trigonometry podcast. It is two relatively center-right people, I think, that are running this podcast. And they had him on. And before they actually had him on, and this is one of the reasons why I'm very excited about this video, well, one of their producers actually reached out to me, said, I've been following up your...
So Hassan has no problem with communism, but he won $30,000 in a horse race and doesn't even think about giving it back to his community? Question mark?
Your series, do you have like a comprehensive list of all the terrible shit Hassan's done? Like, we see clips floating around claiming that he's calling to violence and stuff, and that's great.
Like, if I personally, won $30,000 in a horse race, I don't believe in communism, but I believe in some form of socialism. I would probably take, 10,000 out of it, maybe 15, put that to the side, think, hey, maybe that can be money for a fundraiser. Maybe this can be this or that. Things like that. Things to, put back into the community. Instead of, I don't know, spending it on Gucci.
And I was like, well, actually, I'm really glad you asked. And I sent, the Giga folder of Giga folders with all the information, and they said they went through the clips. They were like, holy shit, this is insane. And basically,
Get banned.
Unfortunately, the conversation didn't really get there to, the individual Hassan stuff. That was mostly on communism. And the reason why, in my opinion, it dragged so long, it didn't even get to the individual instances of Hassan calling for the murder of senators in the United States and stuff like that, or the reason why he supports actual terrorist organizations in the Middle East, or likely why he's part of a terrorist organization, which we'll talk about another time. The fact that he was very likely a pedophile, sleeping with a 15-year-old potentially at a brothel in Germany. You don't understand the rabbit hole of all the info that I sent these guys. But the reason why I didn't even get there is because Hassan's actual political policy was so retarded that they couldn't even move past it. So I have to show you some of the highlights here, because even though this was a long conversation because Hassan doesn't shut the fuck up, I am very interested in showing you how Hassan actually, look at the intro to the actual video.
Hassan Piker, welcome to Trigonometry.
Nice to be here, guys.
Why the big sigh?
Italy's Mussolini and Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany were ruthless fascist forms of governance. My fear is that is where capitalism inevitably leads.
They were socialists! Hitler was a socialist! Mussolini was a socialist fascist!
I don't know anything about that.
Oh my god, China is a communist fascist country! So again, this is why they kept clamping down on this guy, and they were never able to actually get to...
I would ask my boyfriend, who is German. So I don't know if they were. I'm American, I'm dumb. I don't
any of the actual juicy stuff, because his actual, low-tier analysis is so retarded, it's insane.
There's too much instability, there's too much chaos. We need to restore order.
We need to restore order, says Hassan Piker, while he supports terrorist organizations that are murdering random people and raping their children.
Is there a country that's done socialism the way that you like?
I would say China is probably the closest, I would say, to an example.
Again, what?
That is such a bot answered. He was fucking, China probably gave him money to be
again,
here you go.
Agent Hassan
Love us
Piker
some more.
glazing the Chinese Communist Party, an actual fascist state.
That we should follow.
Like communism in America.
I think that communism would be most likely an
How? Let's just say how. How does that work? I'm gonna take your shit and I'm going to distribute it amongst everybody. Everybody's going to get the same. It's going to turn into an oligarchy at some point. It's going to turn into an oligarchy at some point.
International thing and be like the Star Trek
Communism is an
universe.
oligarchy.
Yeah, I like communism because it's like Star Trek. The best you could say about Star Trek is that it's liberalism, not that it's communism. Are you insane?
You think the Reform Party is
I think Reform
fascist?
Party, as it stands currently, is a nascent fascist parliamentary group that hasn't reached its full potential yet.
That's right. Anything that's capitalist is on the way to fascist. Anything that's communist is not, even though historically, every single communist state has become fascist. Without exception, all of them have had this happen, right? You look at Venezuela, look at China, look at Germany. Every single communist socialist state always ends up becoming fascist. And the reason is simple. It's because if you have a rich guy and you want to redistribute his wealth, you gotta kill that guy or torture him. Otherwise, you're not gonna redistribute his wealth. So it always becomes fascist every single time. And because if everyone is equal, then who's governing everything? If someone commits a crime, why does he get punished? Who is the one that's actually enforcing some form of law if everyone's the same? So in a fascist, in a communist state, you always, without fail, wind up with a...
Is it going to be like that one book called The Lottery? Very similar, but instead of randomly killing people, they put people's names into a lottery system, and then I think it's like once a year or like once a whatever. It's a certain amount. They then pull the name out of the lottery, and that person has to die. So, are they going to do the same thing with like jobs? If that's the case, and like in communism, so it's like, oh, hey, here you go, you get to be a judge. Why?
A dictator. It
Can't they
always ends up
buy?
with a dictator. That's
Can
why
they buy?
communism is an inherently impossible system, and even the best possible analysis of communism makes it not work. And the reason is simple. It's because if you're going to give everyone equal shit no matter what they do, then no one's going to do anything. It is an anti-human system. Now, one of the clips that went viral from this podcast has reacted to this guy Lonerbox. He's a lefty, but like, dude, he's not he's a liberal. He's not like a radical leftist like Hassan. This is Hassan basically saying that that Jews were part of Hitler's Nazi Germany.
Yeah, still doesn't matter. I mean, there was
So
Jews that
that's why
worked
you
within
think Reform
there was Jews that worked within the Nazi government command structure.
No, there were no Jews in the Nazi.
If there were any Jews, they're most likely in hiding. And I can tell you they may have had the worst guilt by working within the system that destroyed them. If there was ever the case. There was that one case to which this poor boy did it to survive. There's a movie and there's a book on him, but pretty much he's a Jew. He gets adopted by this family, and by the grace of God, he has the same birthday as Hitler. And so, gosh, he people treat him better because of that. And then he is inscripted, and then he is forced to kill his Jewish brothers. And then later he turns into a POW, prisoner of war, to where he is recognized as a Jew because his private is circumcised. Like, that is what Jewish people believe in, respectfully. That's their culture, their lives. They believe in doing that to them, to remain clean, and he is recognized through that. Before he was turned into a POW, when he was enlisted in the army, he had to go into a lot of hiding. He had a lot of shame. To which, when he didn't turn into a POW, he was like very conflicted in allowing bad things to happen to him because of his guilt and his innate recognition to survive. Like, everybody wants to live, especially during those dire times. So like, maybe that is what Hassan is thinking about. Like, maybe there were Jews inside the government in some way, and I'm just like, how? Because like Jewish people believe in being clean. They have certain cultural mannerisms and their privates are cut. Um, to which, like, if they were at some point in the government, it would be extremely known that, hey, their private is cut. That means they're a Jew, because that's typically how you can find male Jews. It was that way. Guess what? You're gonna die. Unless you have like a medical history, you know, dating back from when you were born, saying, hey, there was like a medical issue to which he does have to be cut, and like there's proof. I don't think anybody would have that. So like I don't understand how. And it was a very male dominated, you know, like when you think about females in military, especially back then, they were the wives of soldiers. And there were cases to where wives, you know, the soldiers, you know, knew that they were Jewish, and I'm sure they may have been cases, I don't want to say for sure. So like maybe, but like I don't get this.
The government,
I
are
don't
you
get
insane?
this. I don't get
They
this
literally
notion.
only accepted like Aryan people, and they.
And
What is
Aryan
this
also meant people who are light skin, blonde hair, or blonde eyes, blue hair. So they believed that if you had blonde eyes, white hair, or fucking, if you have blonde hair, blue eyes, no. I'm doing that on purpose to slurp. So if you do have blonde hair, blue eyes, then it just proves your blood purity. But a lot of things that went against, and they did like the racial, what is it, genotyping? But racial, like they take your physical attributes and then they pretty much put it against a little catalog list. Just to say, oh, your nose is a little too wide. Oh, your nose is a little too long. Like this, that, and the other. And then they would categorize you through there. So, like, even if your family has been living in Germany forever and ever and ever, and you just naturally have dark hair and dark eyes, they'll be like, oh, well, somewhere in your family lineage around the second or third generation was mixed with an outsider. So you're actually or like in what is it called? But like they would say that you're not good enough, pretty much. And that would cause it caused like a I'm better than you kind of mentality, and it was very
Historical revisionism
stupid.
to say Jews bad. What are we doing?
Well, it's just like
No,
they're
they're fucking weren't.
Right, for the record, this guy's not Jewish. That's why I like his crash out. He was just like, what? Like anyone that knows anything about history knows that that's not true.
Yes.
Lying fucking pseudo-intellectual frat fuck. What are you
True.
talking? There were Jews at the higher level of the Nazi government. What? This is the problem, man. This is the problem with comparing everything to. He's watered down what Nazism means. No.
It's like, yeah, America's Nazis. And it's like, bro, America literally has like Jewish people in the government.
And like if you do want to think about it a little bit more, like I can understand how American can get a little bit of the Nazi comparison, because we did have I do not know their correct term for this. I believe internment camps, or they were not death camps like the Nazis. They were concentration camps, relocation camps, maybe. And the United States government would put people of Asian background into those camps during World War II. And they would put them in like places like, I know one, I think it's Arizona. One was either Arizona or like in the desert, pretty much. But it wasn't as inhumane. There were inhumane standards, but they were given fresh water, they were given rations, they were given housing. Like one family got a home kind of housing. Not, I'm not entirely too sure about the housing, but that is what I have read. And if you ever want to read a book about this, and I really loved this book, it's called Sumiko. Sumiko. Book about. It's a called Sumiko. I remember reading this in middle school too. Weed flower? Yes! I've actually read this like 5 times when I was in middle school because I really related to her resilience and her. Oh, it was okay. It's a 12-year-old Japanese American girl named Sumiko. During World War II, the book, told from Sumiko's perspective, details her family's forced removal from their home, most likely in California, I believe. I believe it was in California, to a concentration camp on an Arizona Indian reservation and her experiences there. Like she went through like a dust bowl and everything. Or I think it was a dust bowl. Including the challenges of being an outsider and the beginning of a friendship with a local Mojave boy. Ah, I remember that too! In my head, I was just like, I hope they get together and they start dating when they're older. And they can hold hands. But if you ever want to read a book, I highly recommend this book. It is really wonderful. It is simpler when it comes to it is simple when it comes to like the level of reading. So if you struggle with reading a little bit, this is actually a book that I would really recommend. But it's so nice. It's really good. I really fucking loved it. But during this, like, that is probably like the closest thing in my head to where I can think, oh, we also had concentration camps. We also, like, the United States also contributed. This is what I learned in high school. I could be wrong. We also contributed to a genocide within the Philippines. So we have also committed war crimes within the Philippines, or not genocide, but like I think we did contribute to, I think, 1 or 2 genocides. Not saying that, you know, I can't really go too in depth into it. Please do your own education about it. But I know that we have contributed to 2 genocides. I know we have committed war crimes within the Philippines by killing and running over Filipino soldiers alive with tanks. I know that there was inhumane treatment going on there, but it wasn't to the destructive level that Germany has done towards the Jews. What Germany did to the Jews was absolutely horrendous. And for me, like, it's almost like comparing peanuts to apples. Like, they're not even the same thing. Yes, they're both terrible. Yes, they're both disgusting. I can't remember it right now. I'm not an encyclopedia. I do recommend on just reading about American history and just world history in general. It is an absolutely fascinating thing to where I think a lot of people would become more cultured about. So make sure, keep learning. Always keep learning. Always keep fact checking and researching. And never... I believe this is what Denzel Washington said. If you don't read the newspaper, you're not informed. But if you do read the newspaper, you are misinformed. So make sure to do your own research. And make sure not to purposely look into research that co-align with your values on purpose. Look up things that will contradict your way of thinking so that you can exercise critical thinking and you are not so easily swayed by random bozos like this saying stupid shit. It's stupid.
Government. Well, Nazi Germany had the Jewish people in the government, except they didn't.
No.
Except they did it, obviously.
Nazis had a policy
actual like center left people, like they're like, bro, people think of leftists and they think of this motherfucker.
And
they think of this guy.
I'm not left and I'm not right. I'm more centralist, by the way.
Oh my
He doesn't
god.
care about fucking World War II or the Holocaust or anything like that. He doesn't care about it.
Obviously
Stop
not.
using fucking history as this. I don't know why. Like to him,
We had camps in Australia during World War II too, or as well. Ours were pretty humane, but we expelled them after the war, which I find unjustifiable. Some of them were natural Australians. Yeah. For the United States, those concentration camps was anybody who was Japanese descent, Japanese American, and anybody who was Asian. So even Koreans and Chinese were put into those internment camps. And how did they do it? They racially profiled Asians. So, and anybody that had the, Asian eyes, pretty much. I think they're pretty. I like Asian eyes. Oh. I don't know why. They just, and I don't want to, like, it's not a bad, I don't want to be, like, flamed online for it, but, like, Asian people remind me of, like, snakes and reptiles, and I think that's the most beautiful fucking thing ever. And, like, Americans and, like, Caucasian people were, Westerners just remind me of puppies and dogs, and sometimes I get, like, I see people, like, sometimes they have hooded eyes, but they have those Western features, and I just, like, they remind me of a doe. And gosh, I've met some people who have, like, in my head they have doe eyes, and I just love staring at people's eyes. It's just eye shape. I love eye shapes, like unique eye shapes like that. Holy fuck. My boyfriend has Asian features because he is West Asian descent. So his mother is German, very German. She, I think 3-generation German, while his dad is from Kazakhstan, and he left during the genocide. And he went up to Soviet Russia at the age of 14, lived there until I believe the age of 18 to 20, I think. Moved down to Germany, and then that's when he met his mom. They got married, bada bing, bada boom, had 2 little babies, popped them out. And then the relationship went really bad, really sour. They just stopped. They just dissolved the marriage. And then, well, that'd be that. His father did pass away 3 years in December. 3 years in December. Or I believe 3 years this month. Either this month or December. I just keep track. And I haven't seen anything bad. But yeah. Anyway.
I guess because he brings up the Holocaust more often
Yep.
than most people I know.
Of course he does. Because he hates Jews. Obviously.
I would genuinely like to talk to him on a one-on-one basis without cameras, without anything, and just to have a conversation with him. I do not know how much of a positive conversation this would have. Because maybe he is a nice person. Maybe he is a good person. Like, he shocked his dog, though. He electrocuted his dog. That's kind of bad. Because, like, in my brain, I always want to say a person, there's always good in a person. And I always want to give people like that the benefit of the doubt. And I have very big trouble trying to, like, separate, like, hey, this person is just legit bad until they actually hurt me, which is why I've been hurt in my life so often. I don't think it would be a good thing for us to. Also, my eyebrows are moving a lot. I'm thinking a lot while speaking. The autism on my eyebrows. But I don't think it would be a productive conversation. I don't think I would be open enough without giving some kind of hostility and being like, are you fucking stupid? Without saying, like, are you fucking stupid? Because, like, for me, I have, in some cases, I have a very encyclopedic knowledge about history and at least facts from back in like what 2015, 20 to 2018. But I think anyway, going back on topic. But yes, the United States did dissolve the internment camps as well. Which I find. Why do you think, Riley? Why do you think expel as in like force the people who were in the camps out of the country? Okay, I thought you meant like they terminated the camps, and I don't believe that. No, okay, yeah, I think that would be wrong too. Some of them were natural Australians. Wow.
Because he's like, just
that's
like
a
how
nugget of
the
information.
Palestinians started a war against Israel and lost. Also, the Jews were.
I don't know anything about Palestine and Israel. I really just focus on domestic matters in my brain. I focus on our country. I do vote. I focus on our country, the things that are going to affect me and the people around me. I don't got the brain capacity to think about other things like Palestine and Israel. Like, I'm worried about putting food on my table. I am worried about the rent going up because it goes up every year by $50 to $100 for me. I worry about the next time I have to schedule making a scheduled appointment for a food pantry, because even though I get paid $15 an hour, it's still not enough. You know, like it like I can't, what does Palestine and Israel have to do with me? I'm just going to vote for the person that says no war. Or like at least says that we're not going to be paying for that war. I'm so sorry. Like I can't, like, they're valid things to be worried about. They are, genuinely. Genocides should not be happening. Inhumane treatment should not be happening. I have to worry about the food on my table. I have to worry about that. And then once I don't have to worry about the food on my table, then I'm going to start worrying about other things. And maybe this is a little bit too much saying, but that for me, I feel like that is so privileged or so conceited, to which you don't have to worry about domestic issues. Like, domestic issues should be number one, not Palestine and Israel. I can't make much comments about that, about anything else when it comes to Palestine and Israel. Like, I even have my mom, adoptive mom, not my biological mom, adoptive mom, who lives in Ukraine in an active war zone. And even then, I have reserves whenever they have to send aid over to Ukraine. Because for me, I'm just like, what about the kid? What about the homeless youth? What about people who are not getting food stamps? What about this? What about that? And yet we're sending aid over to Ukraine. And like, I do have a lot of opinions about that because it affects me personally. Like, it personally affects me, but I don't make it about every single fucking thing in my life, you know? Because I worry, you know, like I had to stop keeping up with the news because she lives in Kiev, I believe that's how you say it, Kiev, and she was there for the bombings. She was there, you know, when there was like, it was an active war zone. And I remember staying up, like, I felt so sick because I was worried, is she gonna die? Is she gonna die? But like, I had to let that go. I have to let that anxiety go and remember, like, she would appreciate that I am worried about her, but she would probably say, hey, make sure that there's food on your table.
Same exact thing,
like,
actually. There was a genocide happened in Germany, and there was a pretendicide that happened in Gaza, and it's exactly the same in every way.
I don't know anything about that.
Because I would hate to see the day if he ends up doing more of these adversarial conversations and he debates like fucking Yosef Haddad. And Yosef Haddad does his old, we had an Arab judge. How can we be apartheid when an Arab judge sentenced
for the
a
record.
Jewish prime minister to prison?
True
an
for the
Arab
record.
judge. And then
True.
Hassan's going to be like, well, actually, there were Jews in Nazi Germany. Well, who cares? You know, there were Jews at the highest levels of the judiciary of the Nazi government.
Literally untrue.
Sentencing Nazis for crime. No, there fucking weren't. You stupid fuck.
Bro, I love watching leftists crash
It's
out on
not
this guy.
even niche Nazi history, okay? It's called the Nuremberg Laws. Even before the Nuremberg Laws, but these are the ones everyone knows about, right? Look, this is quick. It's
Yeah,
quick.
wow,
You can go
it's
to a
right
little nice
there,
little
wow.
website here that
I
puts in
know
big,
about the
boggly fucking writing.
Nuremberg.
Big googly font. It's almost like Comic Sans because of how fucking
Oh.
easy it is to read this.
I like reading. I should look that up. Nuremberg Laws. No, I don't like that one. I wanna see the one where he did it. Ooh, I like that one. Okay. Reading for later.
Shit.
Mm.
Jews could not do anything of important in the fucking Third Reich. They couldn't do shit.
New England, and because there's no evidence
I would
Okay,
say
what was the question?
You
Uh,
talk to unions.
loose into England, and because there's no evidence that they're actually committing crimes, and this dude just loses his mind.
You said something interesting because I was born in the Soviet Union, so we both have direct experience of socialism in various shapes and forms.
Yeah,
You talked about
yeah.
there's positives
Yeah.
and there's negatives.
Yeah.
So, is there a country that's done socialism the way that you like?
I would say that
That's a big question.
I am hypercritical of all forms of governance, including
As well, I don't think I am as well. I'm not. I don't think I am. But anyway, okay, everybody. What country has done communism the best in your opinion? Go! And no, they can't be a dictatorship. Woo! What country does that leave? What country does that leave? Like, I don't get it.
the American one. I think that's not a surprise to you guys, right? And in that same vein, I think like there is.
You told your audience to kill members of the Senate. You literally told your audience to kill senators. Yeah, you're critical.
critiques to apply.
Why is he
to
not
all forms of
banned?
Governance, even socialist.
Why is he not banned for that? Inciting violence is a bannable offense.
ones.
Yeah.
And as far as like getting closer to what I think has been relatively successful, because if ultimately the point of government is to improve the material conditions of all people to the best of your ability, it's not always going to be perfect, but when you are getting, I don't know, the poorest people, the poorest of the dispossessed masses out of a situation where they were.
I love how he says this like it's true, when in reality, if you actually look at communist countries, it's the same classism, just rebranded as being fair and nice. Like you look at China, you have children in sweatshops in China, man.
Servile, the landed gentry, or they were peasants from an agrarian society, or they were dominated by the landlords, but then ultimately they were able to come into
Dominated by
modernity
the
and make
I think a lot of people like what country would you guys like to visit? I don't think China is on my top 5. I don't think China's in my top 5. Japan is 1. Korea, because I have a cousin in Korea. I want to visit her. Mexico. I think Mexico is on top of Korea. Well, no, Mexico is number 1 for me. Mexico is number 1. I have a half brother I haven't seen since I was 8 years old, and I want to meet him again because it would be around 20 years since I last seen him, and I think I would get really emotional if I did see him, and I would fucking cry. I would be so fucking happy to see him again. I would want my boyfriend, hopefully husband, there with me. Number two. Okay, so top 5. So 1, Mexico. 2 would be Canada. Canada, because I have a friend who did get married there to a Canadian. and I want to see her again and say hi and be stupid little girls, uh, and say hi to her husband. Her husband is a sweetie. I bully him verbally. Pretty much, I just threaten him, just like, I'll break your knees if you break her heart, and he's just like, well, naturally, yeah. I'm just like, he doesn't respond negatively. I like him. Anyway, hello everybody who just entered chat. Hello. We're kind of just going through this. I want to be recording music in just a little bit. Stream is going to be a bit longer because of all this. But anyway, but yeah. Okay, so number 2 is Canada. Number 3. Ooh, number 3. What would number 3 be? Korea. I want to see my cousin. Number 4, Japan for sure. And then number 5, gosh, what would number 5 be? Oh, Taiwan. Mainly because I want to go there with my friend. I want to go there with my friend Press. He is so awesome. I would just really, like, I would go to a lot of Asian countries just with my friend Presley. He's just so lovely. I would probably have to carry his tiny ass because he would get drunk. Ugh, he likes to drink. He drinks like a fish. Anyway, I think that would be it. Like Taiwan or Vietnam. Vietnam would be another. Or Laos. I really love the beautiful culture of Hmong people that live there. And by the way, Hmong is like it's a kind of like a tribal people that kind of roam between Laos, Vietnam, I believe, and Thailand. But they have such beautiful culture. I like, if you don't know anything about Hmong people, I really think that you should do the research into them. I love their, okay, so I really love female cultural dress. So like, I hope one day, so like, I could pay someone to make me a 3D model of like a Mexican ribbon dress, a Native American ribbon skirt, gosh, I have a kimono. I have a kimono and a yukata already, like in 3D form. It's so lovely. And I have a kimono, a yukata. I would want a hanbok. Hanbok, that is Korean dress. I want to be as like a princess. I would love to be as a princess. Oh, I really want to get. I love traditional wear. I think it's so beautiful. The vibrant colors just really draw me in, and I just love the shiny gold because I'm a magpie. Anyway, gosh, what else? Oh my God, Chinese traditional wear. It just makes me what is it called? A kipao. I know that. A kipao. What is the other one? Hanbok. No. Traditional clothes. Hanfu. Oh, they look nice. Pretty. Hanfu kipao. Or cheongsam. I think it's cheongsam. That is going to be for the men. And zongshan suit. But yeah, hanfu is so pretty. Kipao. And like, if you ever looked into these ornamental knots that are going to be like right up here at the top of this kipao, those ornamental knots can take hours to make. So if you see like ornamental knots on a kipao and you see multiple of them and they're like handmade, if someone tells you, oh yeah, they're handmade, they like literally you can see 100 hours of work right there in just button knots. And it's absolutely divine. Not looking. Tongue suit. This is what Jackie Chan really wears all the time. Weddings. Oh, Zongshan suit. We got ad break in 5 minutes. Traditional Chinese Western clothing. Oh, so you see this in like Ip Man. Ip Man, they wear these, and I think he wears blue, black, and I think gray. Oh, I want to see Ip Man again. Oh, they're so beautiful. I think I would travel to China and like, if they sponsor me, baby, I'd suck China's dick. Maybe me and Hassan Piker aren't really that different.
Become like a powerhouse,
glazing
an
them
industrial
so
powerhouse
hard.
that is competitive with the largest superpower on the planet. I would say if that's the point of good governance, and I think you guys might agree with me on that, I would say China is probably the closest, and there are still plenty of failures within the Chinese.
He's an actual Chinese spy, bro.
In my
System as well.
personal opinion, I would think government wise, I used to say, oh yeah, you know, socialist governments, like when I was younger, like in high school, and I don't know any better, like socialist governments like Sweden and Germany, they had my fucking bitching out. Anyway, they had a lot of government stuff that I agreed with, but due to the immigration issues that they're having right now, I really much do not support that. So
plenty of issues within the Chinese
much as
system
I
as
really
well.
do not
But that's
support
probably
American
the
government half the
closest,
times,
I would say, to
like I would say
an
America is
example
probably the best
that
so far.
we should follow.
Dude, this guy glazes China more than Ben Shapiro glazes Israel, man. This is crazy.
And lessons that we should learn from. This is something that I talk about quite a bit. Ironically enough, we only utilize some of the most repressive elements of Chinese governance here in the United States of America, especially in the second Trump administration, and none of the good stuff. We don't have any high-speed rail. We don't have any even development. There is...
You really like a government because of that? Not the policies that they have or the laws? The policies and the laws? But you're just like, oh yeah, developmentally, like they're really awesome. How much of a fucking child are you?
We don't even have switch up workers, bro.
Nothing to look forward to in America in terms of...
Yeah, nothing to look forward to in America. Only China.
Of economic prosperity, in terms of overall health of
That's
society, in terms of scientific achievements. And
Scientific achievements are being developed in America faster than China just because it's capitalist based. Just because, you know, people are incentivized to actually do things.
I actually don't know anything when it comes to developmental stuff. At least when it comes to medical developmental stuff that's happening with the United States, I don't keep up with any of that, so I can't really make an opinion about it.
I think a lot
Look at
of
these dudes. They're
younger
just like
people also...
they let him talk. I mean, that's the point of their show. Trigonometry is essentially a show where you let the guest speak as much as possible to get the other perspective. But man, dude,
feel the same way, where they feel like there's nothing to look forward to
I
here.
like this.
what?
And I'll
What?
give you guys an
Probably
example
subscribe.
from the UK. I remember seeing this TikTok of this guy that goes around and is like asking young British people, would they serve in the British military? And I am
I don't think
not even
anybody.
remotely nationalistic
Yeah, we
by
know.
any measure.
Yeah, we know.
I don't.
You support all the
If you give me a fat fucking wad of cash, I'll go into the military. Yeah, sure. I'm a fat bitch. If they're just like, you're now conscripted into the U.S. military, I'll be like, okay, what fucking war are we losing in?
enemies of America.
Bitch, I'm like, I just got under 240 pounds, guys. I'm trying to lose weight. But like, I'm a diabetic. I'm reliant on my diabetes medicine. I'm reliant on antipsychotics. I am reliant on sleep medication. I am reliant on ADHD medication. I have autism. I am diagnosed with severe depression disorder. I am diagnosed with childhood and adult post-traumatic stress disorder and what is it called? Just generalized anxiety. I think I'm the last person you want to give to a gun in the military. As gun as in like I could have a gun for my own life and for my job, and I'd be okay with it. But like for the military, like bitch.
We know.
But then again, I would probably be the most sociopathic, probably. I would most likely be the most sociopathic.
About those sorts of things.
Yeah, I know. You
But
support
I think
the
it's
enemies,
important to understand, like, it's a good way to see the temperature of society. And a lot of the young British people were like, no, why would I fight for England?
That's normal.
Why would I fight for the UK when it seems like my government's not even fighting for me at all?
Because the government's not fighting for them at all, because they're importing infinite retards and giving them first-class citizenship. Not just that, they're treating them better. They have taxpayer-funded 5-star hotels for people that are illegally invading the country. But this guy, so while he
I'm not focused on
recognizes that
international
people feel that
affairs,
way,
but
he's also
why do I believe
pro-mass
him?
illegal immigration.
Oh yeah, my boyfriend has also mentioned this to me as well, that they actually do treat the immigrants much better than people who are living there, who are, you know, natural born. Like, they give them a phone, they give them an apartment, they give them, like, everything is pretty much given to them for free. And he says that, like, he, you know, like, he lives with his mom. He had to. He had cancer. He lives with his mom still, and his sister is still living with them because it's so much cheaper. It's just so much cheaper and more affordable this way. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I have to live with somebody else. Like, he's wonderful. He's an amazing guy. I love my roommate. I really do. But, like, I don't want to live with a roommate my entire life. I don't want women or just people in general who are in relationships to think about, okay, if I break up with them at around this time, then maybe I might be able to save up for rent for the next couple months. I'd be able to find another roommate. And so we just have to stay together for the next couple months in order for, you know, me to make ends meet. Like, you hear stories like that. And yet we're giving out handouts to other fucking people. A lot of things could be better in every single country. I'm not saying America is perfect. I'm not saying America is great. I'm just saying, like,
building high
it could be so much better.
Bro thinks that people become nationalist and fight for their country if it becomes a communist country where they oppress their own people, but they give them a high-speed rail. It's like, yeah, no, it has nothing to do with the mass immigration that's giving preferential treatment. No, it's because the government's not fighting for them enough by putting their children in wars. No shit. Immigration, says this hot biker.
But
Hold on, let me just finish the point. Like, stereotypically speaking, is it left of center people or right of center people that are gonna go, and people on the right are very blind?
Feel that way, of course, but
well, think about this for a second.
He's like, no, it has nothing to do with the immigration.
Is it left of center people or right of center people that are gonna go and fight for their country? Typically, it's going to be right of center people because of the mindset that they have.
True.
Right?
I think when push comes to shove, everybody fights for their country.
But he's not talking about push comes to shove. He's talking about people that are patriotic and are going to actually go. Like, look how this man
Hi, Cool Canada. Thank you so much for coming in.
That's why you have to have a draft.
In a war, but what we're talking about.
Yeah, but that's not what anyone's talking about. No one's asking people if you're going to get drafted if your country's about to be destroyed. They're asking if you actually have a patriotic will to fight for your country. So, again, he moves goalposts in order to win.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. He's saying push comes to shove, and he's like, no, actually, willingly. I man, thinking back on it, like, if, like, at the age of 18, I was trying to go into the military. The only reason I did it was because my dad threatened to disown me. And he's a bit left-leaning. I don't know about it so much right now, but, like, bro, I mean, some people do it anyway. I don't want to ramble.
He can't win them fairly.
Hi, Milk Moth.
It's not a Sunpiker's fault. He's coming from generations of inbred people,
how are you doing?
That's what happens.
Well,
yes.
We probably fair to say know the UK pretty
because
well.
The left hates their own countries. We know, obviously. Why is this a controversial take? I love how Hassan Piker's like, no, not necessarily. It's because of communism that they're not doing it. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's because the left hates ourselves. The left eats us.
Those people are concerned about
Yeah, I do
the
already
national
know who
identity
you
of that
are.
country. It's like, why would I fight for a country that doesn't feel like my country? Is the
So
issue for them?
this is where the big point of division comes
Mm.
for someone like myself.
Mm.
You're Venezuelan originally, like
Yeah.
your family came from Venezuela. Your family came from the USSR. You guys are the most British people.
My mother is an immigrant from Mexico who was deported twice and walked from the border to the nearest city, Orange County, I believe. And then she got a green card through marriage. She was still here illegally because her green card wasn't her green card, but a stolen green card, from what I can gather from my father. I still have a lot of opinions on Mexican immigration.
I've ever encountered.
I have a very British face. You are
Yes.
correct.
Yeah, exactly. You're British to the bone,
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
and yet you're
They also integrated into society, and they're not
Yeah.
in jail for joining rape gangs. So I'm not exactly sure what your point is.
families also came from countries that were somewhat far away from England, right?
Yeah.
And I'm Turkish.
I love
grew-
how he makes these points that are completely and utterly devoid of relevance to the
I
actual
I was still struggling how to what does this have to do with that?
conversaries like China. I think he is a classic example of someone that didn't integrate into society properly.
still with some exceptions, and I would say I'm pretty assimilated to American culture.
Yeah, I would disagree. It's because you support United States designated terrorist organizations. How is
On
We all know that.
the
and he's like, yo, there's just so much racism, so much racism, and still support the Islamic radical terrorist organization.
What do you say about
world.
that?
And what I always find interesting is when people focus on the newcomers to say that this is actually destroying the social fabric or social
And he's
cohesion.
like, yo, there's just so much racism, bro. It's not like newcomers are actually without citing it.
To speak
Except they don't.
generation.
Get ready for the clapback. It's going to be diabolical. You're a radical Muslim because radical Muslims, even on the third generation, are still marrying their first cousins. They're still marrying their first cousins. They're still committing rape. They're still not assimilating into
Fortunately, so if you look at, for example,
I think for anybody who is an immigrant should be assimilated into the country's culture. Not like hardcore, but you can still have your culture and everything. But if you do not assimilate, and by assimilation I mean that you don't have to erase your culture. I mean if they speak, let's say you come from Mexico, and you are going to live in the United States semi-permanently. Within 2 years, you should be required to learn English. 2 years. Not 100% fluent English, but basic conversational English and comprehension. I believe that should be a requirement. And then people who are saying, well, they're immigrants, they can't afford that. I think that the United States should be able to provide it. At least online. Walmart does this. They can do it. They are given an account to where it can track their progress and look at their test scores and be like, if you fail, or if you fail it over and over and over again, if you're not within the 2-year mark, get the fuck out. Osa! Hi, Osa! I were supposed to be recording music, but I'm on a tangent here about national policies and shit like that. Anyway. Oh, you're Canadian. This don't matter to you.
Islamist radicalization,
There
second
it
and
is.
third generation Muslims are much more radical than first generation.
Yeah,
So we're not. We that's the issue that a lot of
Fucking
people in
Nux
Britain
looks like
are
a little
concerned about.
demon
Is
True.
not
right
You
over
know,
there.
massive rape gangs, the fact that there are multiple terrorist attacks in the UK every single month perpetrated by
Oh,
Muslims,
God.
from raping children, random the guy.
I
This is-
don't
again-
know.
so here's the interesting point about that.
All right. He's gonna hit you with an interesting point. So
What's an interesting
Constantine over here hit him with a true fact that second and third generation Muslims are not integrating into society, as you can tell, but the terrorist attacks and the violence and stuff like that.
Kick him out. Kick him out.
And here's Hassan's response.
Well,
Oh wait, this is second, third generation Muslim. if you can kick them out.
Two things I want to address. First, like I said, people assimilate. It's and they become a part of the normal forces.
Right, so he ignores the argument.
Of society, they become a part of the culture, or they bring some aspect of their culture into.
Yep, they do, like terrorists.
And quick curry afterwards, or
I do believe that if you do support terroristic groups and things like that, even if you're born in, let's say, like you're born in the United States, if you do support terrorist groups excessively for a long duration, like they can track it, you should be eligible for deportation. Like, you should just go. And you can choose the country. You can choose the country where you want to go. Maybe. The government would be able to set you up. But after, like, let's say 6 months, like, bye. We're not supporting you anymore. Bye.
Or a little kebab on the side. But
like, toss them.
Beyond
they are
that,
so not amused. Like, this entire time, they are not amused.
It's capitalism. That's right. Going to.
I think it's always more for them to.
The trains are slow, and also there are Islamic terrorist attacks every week. It's rough.
Angry is who don't speak your language, who you're scared by, and that angry, and you're right to be angry.
So there are
I'm
Islamic
just using that
terrorist
as an
attacks every
indicator.
It's rough. Was slow because of massive
fire anger. The reason why all of these things are happening is because we are importing all of these random strangers into the country who don't speak your language, and you're scared by, and that I think causes division, and it causes friction that makes it harder for people to integrate.
I mean,
yeah, it's not the Muslims that are committing terrorist attacks that's preventing the Muslims from integrating. It's the people that are racist against Muslims because the trains are being underfunded by a capitalist government that's making it hard for Muslims that are committing terrorist attacks to integrate. Make it make sense.
And that is part of the reason.
That's right, baby.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for the video. I need to do other things. Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Well, you have my hot take about things. I don't know. This is fucking YouTube/Twitch drama that I don't really indulge in on my streams, but who knows? Join my Discord. Send comments through YouTube. I don't know. Maybe I'll start doing more of these. Anyway, see you in the next one. Bye-bye!